shooting a Glock. It chambered fine. I don't know why I did that. Feels good, man. Feels good. Okay, so today I'm comparing the Glock 44, obviously chambered in 22, to the Sig P322. This is going to be a pretty quick video. I'm just going to kind of give the pros and cons of both of these and just show a little bit of the dimension differences. So some things that are better about the Glock 44 is it's definitely more customizable than the P322. The Glock 44 is an exact physical replica of a Glock 19. Of course, there's a whole bunch of different stuff about it, but as far as the size-wise, it's the same size as a Glock 19. You can put any Glock trigger you want to in there. You can put any Glock mag release that you want to in there. You could put the takedown lever in there. You could put slide stop in there. You could put any Glock sights on there. Other thing that, related to that is that any holsters that fit the Glock 19, this is going to fit into. And so this is way more customizable than the P322 because this is a brand new frame size and all of that. So the Glock 44, definitely more options for holsters and triggers and stuff like that. Okay, the other good thing about the Glock 44 is that it is an exact replica, physical replica of the Glock 19. And so, if you're using it for training purposes, which, some people talk about that a lot. To me, I don't really buy these for training purposes. I buy them because they're fun, honestly. And but if you do that, that's cool. No problem for me at all. If you do it, that's awesome. So it's perfect for training with the the Glock 19 or Glock 23 or anything that's this same size to be able to do drills and that kind of stuff with shooting cheaper ammo. Okay, so some things better about the P322. Okay, number one, it has 20-round magazine, and that right there automatically just puts it on a different plane, which there's several things that really put it on a different plane. But with that being said, of course, the standard Glock 44 mag from Glock only holds 10 rounds. But I've used a couple of these Pro Mag 18-round mags, and for me, they've been very reliable. They've been just as reliable as the 10 round mag. But, and I said this in another video on the P322, they say it's a 20 round mag, but you can easily put 21 in there. Really, you can fit 22. And with 22, it has no problem chambering it still. It just chambers just fine. It's not like it slows it down or anything. It chambers just fine. Okay, another thing that's better about the P322 is the trigger. It has a very clean break, the P322 does. Very clean break. It's got a little bit of travel in it. It's got a fairly long reset. But pretty decent trigger. On the Glock, there's the break. Reset is right there. So actually the reset on the Glock 44 trigger is probably a little bit shorter than the reset on the P322. And the Glock 44 has a decent break. It's just a little bit clunky in the way that it feels, and it weighs quite a bit more than the P322. I think this is closer to 6.5, where that's 3.5. I'll weigh them real quick. So on the Glock, about 5.5 pounds. Where on the Sig, it's a little over 3 pounds. So about a 2 pound difference, and you can definitely feel that difference, you know, in this situation anyways. When you're out shooting, probably less so, but there is definitely a difference there. Okay, all P322s come optic ready, so you can mount any optic that you want to on there. That is not the case on the Glock 44. Okay, all models of the P322 come with a threaded barrel, which you can get a threaded barrel for the Glock 44, but you're looking at spending another $150 to $180 or something like that. Okay, I prefer the iron sights on the P322 better. They got these fiber optic rods, whereas on the Glock 44 it has a standard U-notch on the back. And of course, when you put the optic on the P322, you have to remove the rear sight. So, but it does co-witness, so it's really good for that. But it has those fiber optic sights on the back. I just prefer the fiber optic. They just work better for my eyes. So far, I've put about 11 to 1,200 rounds in the Sig P322, and in those 11 to 1,200 rounds, I have only had 2 malfunctions. I've only had 2 malfunctions. The P322 has been very reliable. 2. That to me, that is incredible. The Glock, if I shoot the, the stuff that it likes in it, it's fine, but definitely, I've had to find the right stuff, and it does shoot probably. It has kind of ironed itself out a little bit, because anytime I've shot it in the past, recent past, as opposed to whenever it first came out, shooting a lot then, it's been pretty smooth, but it definitely has not been near as reliable as the P322 has. Okay, the P322 has a full aluminum slide, where on the Glock 44, the top part up here, where the serrations are at, is actually a polymer part to the slide. The good thing about the Glock 44 slide, though, is that this stripe right here is actually metal, and it's actually steel. So, it's kind of a trade-off, although I think I'd prefer just to have all aluminum than to have a little bit of steel and polymer on the slide. That's just a little bit strange. I prefer the aluminum slide. Okay, I prefer the takedown in the Glock 44 for one reason. Same thing that I've talked about on my Taurus TX22 competition on it, is that this happens in the takedown. The barrel completely comes free, like in a centerfire, handgun or something like that. So all that completely comes free. Okay, the P322, its takedown is very simple. Just rotate the lever up, pull back up, and let it slide off of there. But the barrel is truly fixed into the frame here. You'd have to knock that pin out to get this barrel out. And I just prefer for the barrel to come out. It's easier to clean this. It's easier to, to deal with it in this situation. Okay, they're both ambi for the slide stop on both sides here. And of course the Glock is a Glock, striker fired, true striker fired. It does not have a safety on it. Of course, you've got the trigger blade safety here, but there's no manual thumb safety on it. Whereas on the P322, there is, and because this is a hammer-fired weapon, the P322 may look like it's striker-fired, but there's actually an internal hammer here on the P322. On the Glock, it is a true striker-fired. Right there is the striker on the Glock. Okay, the Glock with an empty mag is 14.8 ounces, Where the Sig with an empty mag is 18.15 ounces, of course, including the 7/10 or 8/10 of an ounce for the red dot there. Okay, so for ergonomics on the Glock, it's got this undercut on the trigger guard there. It has the standard pyramids for the grip there. You can see how much gap there is as my fingers wrap around. And of course, you can put back straps on here if you want to, even increase that further. It's already pretty thick. But that's kind of what it feels like. It's very straight here. Pretty straight here. There's a little bit of a hump out there. Feels pretty good. Feels like what a Glock feels like. And you can see with the way this is, my pinky, with my fingers all the way up against there, my pinky's hanging off the end of the grip there just a hair. On the Sig, it's got, this type of texture that I really do like. It's very grippy, not too much, but to me it's about perfect. You can see how much gap there is there, so my finger a little bit closer here, so it's not quite as big of a round. You can see it's a lot, the grip is a lot longer. It's a little bit longer. You can see there's plenty of room there for my pinky on that. You got this undercut that kind of cuts up under the trigger guard, but it also kind of cuts back up into here, and that feels pretty comfortable in the hand, just like that for me anyways. So you can see the slides are very similar in length. I believe the Sig is, well, actually, I think they're really, really close to being the same. I could put my calipers on that, but they look like they're really close to being the same. Okay, and then the grip definitely on the P322 is quite a bit longer than the grip on the G44. Both of these kind of have a flared magwell. Actually, I guess they flare about the same, really. The Sig may be just a little bit more flared, but not by much. So the Glock has one slot, the P322 has 3 slots.